cool. So that'll help me sync up the microphones. Anyways.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, that used to be a thing just because it was over the internet, but now that we have these running on two completely different pieces of software, it's just... Yeah. Welcome back to the Title To Be Determined podcast that hasn't streamed in over 3 years.
Oh my.
My name is Shane. I'm a nobody from New Jersey that's trying to be a musician. Who are you?
You can apply all of those same descriptors to me. I'm Harrison. Hello, all.
Yes, hello, all.
Whatever poor unfortunate fool. Whatever poor unfortunate soul stumbles across this.
Oh my
Greetings
goodness.
and welcome to whatever the frig this is going to be.
All right, so just jumping right into this, you gave me the topic of expectations in a relationship.
God, no. I'm not here to deadlift like 3 times my body weight in the first one.
I want to know what the hell you meant by that.
Oh, listen, man, it was for the future, all right? Frig.
Okay, do you not want to do that now then?
No, if that's okay.
Okay, fine. The other topic we had, the possible origins of different folklore.
That, actually, I've been doing research, funnily enough. I forgot that was one. I've been doing research into, I guess the term paganism is very, that is low. That is very low.
I mean,
I just don't hope that's not going to be a problem, that's all. I don't want to...
Okay. We'll be fine. I can boost it later.
Cool beans. I was just checking. Yeah, at work, I've been, some at work, but really I was driving around yesterday, listening to, there's a guy who's out, let me just check his YouTube channel. If I had this ready, I would be able to just tell you, but unfortunately I don't. He runs a YouTube channel called Religion for Breakfast, and his name is Andrew, I forget what his last name is, but he's a scholar out of a university
I'm going to say if you want to just like scoot over, like just get as close to the mic as you can without just breathing on it.
No, I'm kidding.
There we go. That'll work.
Well, here's the gist of his YouTube channel, and I think it's worth checking out because it's Religion for Breakfast, but he deals with a lot. He's actually got a particular focus in magic in the Roman Empire.
Ooh.
Which I wasn't expecting from a channel called Religion for Breakfast, but really that kind of makes a lot of sense. But anyway, so his gist here about the channel is an educational channel dedicated to the academic, non-sectarian study of religion. We promote improving the public's religious literacy by exploring humanity's beliefs and rituals through an anthropological, sociological, and archaeological lens. That's the gist. The host, Dr. Andrew M. Henry, is a scholar of religious studies. His research focuses in early Christianity and late Roman religion, and he earned his PhD at Boston University. That's Boston University, that was it. But he...
That's the guys that made the robots.
Yes, indeed. I want one of those.
I know.
So badly.
You can buy one of the little dogs now. They're available to actually purchase.
Wait. Are they really?
Yeah, Spot. You can buy Spot.
I feel like I knew that, but... Didn't they make a smaller model?
It's about as small as it's going to get, but yeah, if you've got like $20,000 to spend or whatever the hell it is, you can buy one.
I just spent my last $20,000. That blows. But before
my dad needed his new hip, but now I'm kind of regretting that.
At least he's got a companion now. Replace the old one. No, but before I get completely lost in staring at all their technology, he did a brief quote-unquote video. It was 20 some odd minutes or more. I don't quite remember. But about what is paganism, because it's a broad, ambiguous term, and it really gained footing in, I don't want to say common language, so to speak, but funnily enough, actually, it really became a commonly used. Hey, what's going on?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Papa has entered the room. What's on, Dad?
Oh.
You're good. No worries.
All right, never mind then. All right. Okay. Anyways, back to paganism.
Applause for Mr. Horn.
Yes, applause for Mr. Horn.
But
Hey, I forgot to mention we have Lexi in the room here too. Say hi, Lexi.
Hi.
Okay, I'm sure that got picked up.
I was going to say, hopefully you can hear. Yeah, there you go. It's in there. But anyway, so it really gained footing. It's just kind of like a what's the word? Footing usage, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
When the New Testament epistles and gospel accounts were written, And at that point, it referred to any non-Abrahamic religion, which is really freaking broad.
Which is like everything.
Anything other than, I think the biggest, I mean, they refer to it as the big three, but I think the biggest three, even though I'm ignorant as to a lot of Abrahamic religions, but I think the biggest three are Islam, Judaism, and Christianity.
Yeah, I was about to say, they all very explicitly worship the same God.
Yeah. So... yeah, that's kind of when it gained really pretty popular usage. Funnily enough, actually, in the midst of the what might be considered to be getting near or just following the height of the Roman Empire, not following, moving into, but again, at that time, that's massively broad. Literally, the rest of the world, is all non-Abrahamic religion. So it's kind of like, wow, how do you put together like a 25-minute video about that? Well, it's changed a lot in definition coming up to, contemporary usage.
It's okay. Go ahead. Make noise. You can do it, babe. That's fine. That's fine.
Good Lord, is that a Sherpa blanket?
Yes.
Oh, no wonder, man. A leather chair. That's not warm at all.
Sherpa and leather, the perfect summertime relaxation.
Mid-July in New Jersey. There you go.
It's already getting hot in here. I wish we could keep the AC on, but it's so loud.
I mean, that's not going to make it any better.
Yeah, no.
It's disgusting outside.
Well, come on, let's make this snappy. Get to it. Paganism, let's go.
Paganism, basically. The gist of it being, like, it has changed a lot coming up into modern times, and you hear you see people post about it on Instagram. For some reason, Bo Burnham's white woman's Instagram just rolled through my head. But it's true. You see a lot about it on Instagram, on a lot of social media platforms. You see a lot about it on YouTube, about people I'm not going to sound like I'm trying to be a jerk here and make jokes about it, but it's like people talk about different rituals for this or spells for that, crystals everywhere you turn. You go through, I don't know, pick a major bookstore, Barnes & Noble, and you find all these different books about Wicca, and I saw one today from a friend, or not today, the other day from a friend, something about the goddess Hecate.
Hecate.
Is that the proper pronunciation? Because I've heard Hecate for like as long as I've been alive, so I don't know.
Apparently Hecate isn't right.
It's been mispronounced for decades and decades.
Yesterday Jordan called it He-gate.
He-gate?
He thought it was a G.
Oh, okay. No. But yeah, no, Hecate. I'm pretty sure that is
it really?
That should be the proper pronunciation.
Hecate.
Hecate.
The E is its own syllable. You're talking about the goddess of like witchcraft.
Goddess of magic, witchcraft, and the night.
Yes, that is her. 3 heads.
Yeah, but anyway, books like that. I'm sorry.
She's glorious. I love her.
Books like that just show up. Oh yeah. So it seems interesting. Well, I've just been wrong.
Which one, Hecate or Hecate?
Oh, it looks like Hecate. I forget what the little like mountain over the E denotes.
Because I was listening to an audio book about Greek gods, and they were saying Hecate, but I wasn't sure if they were saying it right.
Well, thank you. Now
you learned something new.
I have learned. That's one of the goals, hopefully, of this. But anyway, so books like that show up everywhere, and it's just, again, it hasn't really given any answers. It's just sort of painted an even more, I think, ambiguous face on it, because the common idea seems to be, like, it's do your own thing. There's always, one of the things I heard big time in his video was there's always an exception when it comes to quote unquote practicing magic or like witchcraft or whatever it is. There's always an exception. And he gave numerous examples of that to the point where I was like, man, all right, I get it, move on. And he made the comment just following, you're probably annoyed right now by how much I've said this. And yeah, he's right. But all that to say that it's interesting to watch something that has been around for thousands of years move up into the modern era, or I guess not even that, but become more prevalent in the modern era, And the more you kind of look into it, the more it hasn't really actually changed.
Yeah.
And I only say this in regard to the origins of folklore because of it really showed up in our trip. Brief note, we being myself, Shane, Lexi, and our friend Jill, all just got back from a trip up to New Hampshire. And one of the things that we visited was, a site that's referred to as American Stonehenge. I'm not going to give you a dissertation on it, but if any of you have the time and are in the area or want to get into the area, I recommend you do it. I found it very interesting. The reason I bring that up is because there was an inscription in Iberian text that came out of the site that read, "To Baal of the Canaanites." That harkens way back to the ancient Mideast. And again, that has a lot of biblical ties to it, but it really struck me because I was like, that whole area was soaked. Again, when you're doing more research and things, I was reading in the little museum area there and stuff, in the the byproduct of the assimilation of, if I'm not mistaken, like Viking peoples, or if you want to call them Anglo-Saxons. I forget when that.
I was going to say, wasn't
changed.
the site supposed to be like Celtic in origin?
Yeah, there was a lot of Celtic. What's the word? Yeah, the Celts were the ones basically that showed up around 700 years ago. But I think later on, I'm not going to be quoting this perfectly, but I think later on there were Vikings that showed up and they assimilated with Native Americans, which was kind of like almost the same thing that happened again with the Celts and the natives. But,
yeah, okay.
It was just interesting because you have all that. Again, it's paganism. It's paganism influence. It's this sort of really deep look into real history that is like involving witchcraft and magic. And it's just funny because working into whatever folklore, if you want to pick a thing, if you haven't already picked an idea to go on from once I shut up,
I'm just letting you ramble at this point.
No,
I'll pitch in.
I'm just going to shut up because there was the idea took a turn. I didn't mean it to, but it's funny because I'd like to revisit this at some point, and having done some research on a particular thing, only because the point of all of that was just to say there's a lot, and that American Stonehenge really sank the nail in for me. That was, oh man, this is important. Like, it's not just a cool place to go. This is two completely different people groups with two completely different presuppositions about life and the world and the origins of the world that just came together, and not only like clash, they didn't really even clash so much as they did assimilate. Again, came together. And like, what does that look like? We just saw.
And then some jagoff in the 1800s came and made it his living room.
Let me build my massive mansion on top of all of this and illegally sell stones to jerk quarrymen who didn't want to buy, ruined it. But
you know, the whole place was thoroughly impressive. It was a very serene area and definitely gave off that vibe of like just mystery almost, I would say, from my end at least. I was more or less just astounded at all the different points. Lexi likes the sacrificial table that had grooves in it to let the blood drain out. That's very fun.
That was very cool.
It was still really cool, yes. It was just like...
There was a father and his son that walked up. It was pretty funny. And the son was just all over the place. And the dad, you could tell in his voice, he's like, all right, buddy. Don't please. I don't want to be here long. Let's just get
And then
out.
God said, no, stop. Here's a lamb. You can use this instead.
But, oh no. Kid's running up and he's like, oh, Dad, look, this is where they killed people. And he's like, well, buddy, they're not sure that's what happened. And the only thing that was running through my head was, no, they're pretty sure, and I'm pretty ignorant, and I'm pretty sure they definitely killed people.
We can
here.
find out if that's what this place is used for if you want.
But it was funny because it's like, that's really what that stuff turns into for some people. And not just that, but I mean, folklore in general turns into this thing. Yeah, I guess the paranormal, you can group into that, where it's there, how someone chooses to define quote unquote it, I guess apparently they think is up to them. Mm-hmm. But at minimum, it is a part of humanity and it's not going anywhere. When we know that by way of just really is an objective truth because it's been there as long as we've been writing things down. It's been there as long as people have been drawing paintings on cave walls. You know, like, it's not to say that all of it is necessarily true, because that's a logical impossibility. But there's weight there. What is the weight? To be discussed. But it's just, to me, I think that's so important to see that there is so much to all of this, from something as simple as Bigfoot to paganism, you know. Anyway, that was my kind of warning shot there for the start of this.
Just getting everything kind of a little bit of a start.
Oiling the machine.
Yeah. What folklore and or cryptids would you like to try to discuss possible origins of?
Oh my. Huh?
Who?
The Wendigos.
Oh, the Wendigo. Okay, I heard you say Windy Boy, and I was just like,
yeah, it took me a couple times.
Okay, the Wendigo. That actually is a really interesting one. I like the Wendigo. That one's old, isn't it? It's native, isn't it?
It's Native American. There's a lot of artistic license that's been taken these days with
the deer with like the wolf mouth and everything.
Yeah, it's like some weird like hybrid zombie thing.
Yeah, it's like has the body of a person for some reason.
Yeah, the limbs are all long, the fingers are 2 feet long.
Yeah.
Good Lord, that's disturbing.
Fun fact, Guillermo del Toro is making one about the Wendigo.
Is he really?
Yeah, I believe the movie's called Antlers or something, but it's about the Wendigo. Antler.
Wait, hold on a minute.
Yes.
There's not a trailer, is there?
There is.
What the frick? I'm not going to watch it, but
but save it for later.
I'm excited. Hold on a second.
Whenever Guillermo del Toro makes something, like especially in like a horror sense, it's always really good.
Antler trailer. What the heck?
Yeah.
Good Lord, this looks interesting.
I remember seeing there was like a little interview about it, and they were just like, "Oh, you know, we're going to be reimagining the Wendigo, and how are we going to do it?" And apparently, Guillermo del Toro and whoever the other guy working on it was, I'm sorry, other guy, they were just like, "We want to reimagine the Wendigo, and we want to make him feel like a god."
Really?
So I'm interested to see what that means.
Wow.
Yeah. Whether it be like,
all right.
I'm trying to imagine like what it could be of, you know, like. I don't know if they mean God in a literal sense, or it's just like, you know, like the god of like pestilence or something, where it's just like it's a super foreboding presence, you know. The Wendigo's whole thing was it was like stole bodies or something. What was the Wendigo's thing?
The gist of the Wendigo, from my limited understanding, which is not to say I have not done some level of research, but again, limited as in I am not someone who's been steeped in native folklore, or I guess what they would refer to as.
Dude, it's okay. My folklore knowledge ends at Bigfoot. All right, like.
Oh, then I've got a treasure trove for you. But the gist of the Wendigo, as it was kind of laid out historically, was that it formerly was a human, a regular person, that would be if whoever it is that hears this, feel free to fact check me. I'll try and do it myself. And
leave a comment down in the section below.
Yeah, really, exactly.
Tell us how wrong we are.
Educate me, because I know I'm very wrong.
We love to learn.
Yeah, yes, we do. But the Wendigo was like either the name of the spirit, or it was the byproduct of this evil spirit that would come and afflict individuals who, a lot of times there's reference to cannibalism as like the kickoff, or the thing that really kind of brings in this evil spirit and it latches onto somebody, or I don't know if it possessed them, but it began to drive them to only desire like human flesh, and they would get decrepit and just look really disfigured, and just everything was wrong, just act really evilly and stuff. But I think it was, I don't think it was just cannibalism. I think there were different things that might bring it about. Like it was, you know, like if you killed a man and his children, or some guy's wife and his children, did something heinous, basically, either to people, to nature. You know, again, you're looking at the greater picture of Native American, I think it's referred to as Spiritism. We talked about that.
Yes.
In the greater like sense of like general Native American Spiritism, if I can say that, it just had to do again with a very high respect for the world around them, a very deep value, a spiritual value in the world around them, and obviously in people. And any heinous act against any part of that world, again, people, animals, whatever, could, I guess, warrant a visit, I don't know what the right word is, like an invasion from the spirit. And I'll have to do more looking. Let me take a note on that, because now I'm curious. But it got pretty dark. I mean,
jeez,
really dark.
I'd imagine.
Hold on one second. I don't know exactly if it was like a group of tribes that first kind of, I don't want to say popularized necessarily, but helped with the furtherance, I guess, of that myth of the Wendigo. I don't know if it was a single tribe or several tribes, but I'd be interested to find out who and when, because I'm sure there's got to be like an earliest recording, even though a lot of that was oral tradition at that point. Yeah, the Wendigo. What game was that the Wendigo was the main antagonist? Until Dawn. Markiplier played it, and he like started over because he was like, "Frick, no, I killed her." Ah!
Oh crap!
It was Until Dawn, I think.
I think that might have been it.
Because Rami Malek was one of the if that's his name, I never get it right.
The Egyptian guy.
Huh? It is.
Malek, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, you talk about the
right.
Egyptian actor. Yeah, Rami Malek.
Yeah, he was one of the main voice actors in that, at least that I recognized. But I'm sure if I saw some red names or whatever, I'd know more. Wendigo, huh? Anything other than Bigfoot in your mind while you're searching for the game?
For Until Dawn, it's the only thing I'm getting is, yes, Rami Malek is right there. It's just there you go, his CG face.
Yeah.
But it's just like players assume control of 8 young adults who have to survive on Blackwood Mountain when their lives are threatened. That's all I can get from it.
Google image Until Dawn Wendigo, probably.
Until Dawn.
Yeah, it must have been, because the one native guy, I think he was native, shows up with a flamethrower. It's his main line of defense. It's just...
I mean, they have a Wendigo, but it really just looks like it. I mean, yeah, it's a really decrepit looking guy.
Yeah. That one didn't go so far into like the deer skull. Yeah. Flesh falling off. That was more the.
He looks kind of like the Rake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah. What's the origin of it? Do we know? Not the origin, but
I'm pretty sure the Rake was just another copy pasta or creepy pasta. I mean,
was it?
I'm pretty sure.
I didn't know that. I thought that was. Huh. Then again, though.
Yeah. The Rake was a creepy pasta.
All right. That is a pretty general figure for like your classic scary story. It seems it's always
pale, decrepit, animal-like.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
you can go with Bigfoot, or we can do other than Bigfoot. I have a warehouse full of stuff. So
I want to talk about Slenderman.
Slenderman.
What do you say?
What about the Jersey Devil?
Oh, the Jersey Devil. Well, I've heard the origin story of the Jersey Devil. It's so dumb, but I'm trying to think about like where it actually began, like how people first came up with it. So, well, like I'm just gonna. We know about Nessie, but we know about its actual being. But for those of you who are not familiar with the Jersey Devil or just don't know its origin. We are from New Jersey. The Jersey Devil was originally thought of being, it was like, I can't remember the name of the family, but it was like some family that lived near the Pine Barrens.
Yeah, it was like out in the Pine Barrens, I thought. And
yeah.
What was it, like the 19th century?
Around there.
18th, 19th, late 18th, probably.
Yeah. It was like right around when, there really wasn't much going on in New Jersey. Like, there obviously not much civilization, but it was like, we'll just call them the Willow family because I can't really think of anything else.
Spooky enough, right?
Yeah, the Willow family. But it's like they had 12 children already, and like I'm not kidding. This is actually what the origin story was.
Yeah,
it was just like
it's just ridiculous.
It's like, fucking they kept having kids, and then eventually the mom was just like, I don't want any more. And it was just like, if this kid gets born, let it be the devil. And then fucking, what do you know? Kid gets born, it's not crying, and then like it rapidly begins changing, crawls on all fours, and just like runs out into the forest and rapidly mutates, and there you go. There's the fucking Jersey Devil. With its human body, reptilian claws, horse head with fangs, like fucking
bat wings, serpent tail.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go. If you want the Wikipedia version, which is like
Wikipedia.
There you go. Which is the exact same freaking thing. In the southern New Jersey and Philadelphia folklore of the United States, the Jersey Devil, also known as the Leeds Devil, the name of the family.
Okay, the Lead family, that's what it was.
Is a legendary creature said to inhabit the Pine Barrens of South Jersey. That is a beautiful place.
It is.
I do want to go kayaking there again. Anyway, the creature is often described as a flying biped with hooves, but there are many variations. The common description is that of a bipedal, here's a combination, kangaroo-like or wyvern-like creature with a horse or goat-like head, leathery bat wings, horns, small arms and clawed hands, legs with cloven hooves, and a forked tail. Oh, it's a forked tail, not a serpent's tail. Thinking chimera.
Close enough. Who
Yeah,
cares?
it works. It has been reported to move quickly, oh no, and is often described as emitting a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream like every other scary thing out in the woods. What was that? Yeah, that always made me laugh. I don't think that ever actually, like, even when I was little, freaked me out. It was like, this is ridiculous. I like this story.
It literally sounds like something that a kid would make up.
Yeah, like, you don't need to be brilliant.
There was this thing. It had 4 eyes. It had dragon wings, and like it held a pitchfork. Like,
Yeah, I guess when you're bored in the 18th, 19th century, what do you do except, 12 kids is enough. She never actually had a 13th, but I'm sure that was her inner monologue was, "Freak, if I have another one, I swear."
But yeah, like, so talking about like how it could possibly have like got its origin, I'd almost chalk it up to like early settlers where like, again, it's like we've talked about it before where certain animal calls sound like a horrific person but doesn't sound like a person. It's like, distorted or whatever.
If I had a soundbite of a fox screaming or a deer screaming, you just throw it in.
Insert it right here. But yeah, like, we always hear about that shit, or maybe it was like some fucking a deer that was like getting like like eaten by a wolf or something. So you hear this horrific call, and then these the people are just like, "What was that? Let's head in the direction." They see like this fucking corpse that's like mangled to where you can't really tell what it is anymore.
Yeah.
You're just like, what could have done this? It's just like, well, it was a wolf, but you're gonna come up with some bullshit.
God
just
forbid we say that.
Once you meet your friends down at the pub, you want to give them a story, right? Like,
like every freaking sailor or woodsman, there you'd come back with something.
I saw a kraken, and it was just a fucking whale's dick.
That's a whale's penis.
It's a whale's penis. Yeah, it's Nessie. I saw Nessie.
There you go.
There's so many of them, and they smell bad.
Gosh. But yeah, I mean, I think you're totally right. If you want to talk about potential origin, it's kind of textbook when you think about it. I mean, you have people, again, that are out here in the middle of the Pine Barrens, no less, which for those of you that have never been there, you can either Google pictures, or if you're close enough, again, or just feel like getting out of your local area, feel free to stop by. I like it. There's a neat historic village down there called Batstow. But, yeah, the Pine Barrens is desolate. Other than really sandy soil, nothing else grows except for some scrub brush and, again, pine trees, hence the name. And you're out there and you have no power. You're alone. Mm-hmm. What possesses somebody to build a house out there in the first place is beyond me. Like, you can't grow food.
You want to get away from them damn city folk.
Exactly.
Back in the 1800s.
But yeah, it's like you go out there, you can't grow food. There's like no readily accessible water supply that's relatively local. Mm-hmm. I mean, even the Batstow village, they had the river that ran through, but my gosh, frig, man, no. You're out there, you're in the dark, you have deer that come through that scream if something happens, God forbid. Or foxes in the night that sounds like a woman being slaughtered. It's absolutely bone-chilling. And again, like the husband's just too fed up with his 12 kids to go outside and look because, Daddy, what is that? Friggin', I don't know. It's your 13th brother, who went outside, right, honey? What was that, sweetheart? Isn't it their 13th brother? Oh yeah, it was the 13th brother.
You darn kids better not go out there. I swear to God.
I was just about to say your older brother's gonna
your brother's gonna hunt you down.
That's probably exactly what it was too, and they had a great laugh, and that was the end, and the kids just believed it. But it's funny how much that just
I can already see that too. It's just like, the Mr. Lead goes down to the local pub and is just like, joking about how he's fucking with his kids. And then his friends or whatever, the other pub mates are just like, oh, what does this kid look like? And then it's just it's like, yeah, he's got cloven hooves and bat wings. It's just like, yeah, that's
really. After every shot of whiskey, he comes up with a new attribute. It's just...
oh yeah. Also, he had the face of a horse, but he still has like fangs and shit. Like
they'll get drunk enough, they go outside. Frig, maybe he was right.
I heard something in the forest. What was that?
Good Lord.
They pull out their 1800s video cameras to get just the light blurry image of something in the distance. It looks like a man, but it isn't.
That would really, that an aside, I would love to do that, like an 1800s ghost hunting show.
Oh my God.
Like, just don't address the fact that it's all recorded, but just people that go into period accurate clothing, pick a location, and just that's all it is. It's just 1800s ghost hunting. I would watch the crap out of that. That would be freaking hysterical. You have like cameos of like Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, that'd be great.
Or Theodore Roosevelt. No, when was Theodore Roosevelt? I don't remember.
No, Roosevelt was like...
I wrote a whole freaking series of books, and I, for some reason, can't remember. That's embarrassing.
I would have loved to have gotten to meet Roosevelt, though.
Holy moly.
He was such a guy.
Dude was insane.
Yes, he was.
Oh, he's born in 1858. Yeah, okay, so I thought it was the second half of the 19th. That's okay, cool. Well, not cool, but
Be gone, wench! Just doing a freaking like exorcism in there.
He'd bust out into the Pine Barrens on a freaking like Clydesdale with an elephant gun.
Oh my God!
And like a horde of 20 men. Just, we're gonna kill it. I'm gonna mount it on my wall. You will all see. And then he would find it too. There wouldn't be one. He'd find one and bring it back. It would be in the White House today. That would somebody please make a show.
Don't mind the seams and stitches. We had to put it back together after I blew it up.
After I ripped it apart with my bare hands, wrestled it shirtless like a real man. Good Lord. Please, if anybody ever hears this with the capability of making relatively adequate television, do it. Please make that a thing.
1800s ghost hunters. Come on, we want it.
Cameos, Sherlock Holmes, Roosevelt, Lincoln.
I want 1%.
I'll take 0.5. I don't care. That's fine. Good Lord. What else?
Devil.
Jersey Devil.
Man.
What's a relatively obscure one? Let me think.
Mothman. I know nothing about Mothman.
The West Coast. What?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think about really obscure ones because it's like when you have too much of a thing in your brain.
The one that is kind of like a witch with a red face, I think.
Give me an area.
Kind of like a witch with a red face.
Lexi's brainstorming and researching very heavily. Her focus is amazing. Oh my gosh.
We're waiting.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, that one.
You want to be a little
more
specific?
That one. Oh no, that's supposed to be an alien. That's from it's, oh my gosh. Jill and I talked about this, and for like 20 minutes I couldn't remember the name, and it drove me insane. What is it? Well, I can't think of a name, but if anybody can, and I don't find it first,
aliens.
It's got like
It starts with an F?
I think it starts with an M.
Martian
Maybe.
Man.
I don't know. But it's basically like, if you imagine like the cross section of a red onion with a black circle in the middle and two red eyes, and then like a green robe underneath. It's like bipedal and short. I think it's in the Midwest somewhere.
It's called the Flatwoods Monster.
Yes, it is an F.
Yeah.
Why do I always think it's an M?
Well, monster starts with an M.
Oh yeah,
Flatwood Monster.
The Flatwoods Monster. Yep.
All right, I'm gonna need y'all to educate me on this because I've
Lexi,
never heard anything.
I saw a couple things about that. Do you know anything? No.
No.
Dang, no
All
info
right.
from the back. Oh well, that's fine.
It's a West Virginia folklore.
West Virginia
An
folklore.
entity reported to have been sighted in the town of Flatwoods in Braxton County, West Virginia.
Braxton
United
County, West
States,
Virginia. Okay.
following the appearance of a bright object crossing the night sky. September 12, 1952.
A bright object crossing the sky. Well, I already have an idea. It was a shooting star.
1952. There you go. Again, bored, drunk, out in West Virginia.
In 1952, the Flatwoods monster terrified 6 kids, a mom, and a dog.
Okay,
that's
yeah.
likely.
Okay, then yeah, it was definitely a shooting star if it got started because it terrified a mom and their kids. The boy peed his pants. Okay, so it was a big shooting star.
Yes.
Come on.
He was a high school freshman.
I was closer to that than I thought.
Dude,
Interesting.
What?
A high school freshman at the time.
And he peed his pants.
Okay, then he was obviously a dweeb. But
Okay, yeah, just grill him like that.
speaking of just little tangent, but speaking of
It was dusk when they saw it. The May brothers Ed, 13, and Freddie, 12, had been playing in their schoolyard with their 10-year-old friend Tommy Heyer. After noticing a pulsing red light streak across the sky and a crash on a nearby farm, the 3 youngsters ran to grab the Mays boy's mother, then hightailed it up that hill to check out where the light had landed. A few other boys, one with a dog, showed up too.
I'm gonna see if I can
boy.
boost any of that so you can hear.
I could see it getting picked up, but it's so low.
But so fucking as a little tangent, just speaking of big shooting star. Do you remember? I believe it was called the oh god, the freaking meteor in Russia.
Yeah.
It was like Chelyabinsk or
Oh frig, I don't know.
fucking I can't remember that, but I just seeing the videos of that shit was crazy. The fact that that meteor caused so much heat and was burning so bright that it turned the sky into day. Seriously, I remember seeing the videos. The sky was blue. The sky was blue and it was midnight.
Yeah, no, I remember. Is that the one? There's a really famous clip of it, isn't it? I don't know if this is the one where it's going over a highway.
Yes.
Dash cam footage. That's
yeah,
the one, right?
yeah. That's the one.
That was tremendous. I was blown away by that video.
Freaking blew out windows and shit from miles away.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember how loud they said it was. It was like. It was. I know that it was
absurd.
it was well over 110 decibels. It was really fucking loud.
Yeah, because what's the rating of a jet engine?
Ooh, I want to say a jet engine was 105.
Yeah,
Don't quote me on that.
It's just about 100 because there's a bird in Brazil. We talked about this that
Oh yeah,
the call is about 100 decibels.
Yes.
Russian meteorite.
Anyway, they said that they saw a pair of bloody red lights. Wait, what? I'm reading this out of order. A pair of bright eyes in a tree. He saw a 10-foot monster with a bloody red body and a green face that seemed to glow.
Ooh.
It may have had claws for hands. It was
May
hard
have.
to tell because of the dense mist.
Also, yeah, it was called the Chelyabinsk.
Chelyabinsk. Okay.
Chelyabinsk meteor.
All right. That sounds Russian enough to
Yeah,
believe
come on, Russia. Can't you make it easier for us? I do really want to see if I can find the sound of it, how loud it was.
that would have been an experience.
But, dude, you wouldn't be able to hear again. I'll tell you that much.
Even so, at least I get to hear it once.
Chelyabinsk meteor sound dB. Let's see. 180 decibels.
Oh, frig.
Good God, one of the loudest sounds ever recorded in Earth's history. Unfortunately, apart from the deafening noise, the meteor also caused major destruction and injured almost 1,000 people in its proximity.
Holy moly, really?
What I remember hearing about that, though, is the people injured wasn't because of the explosion, it's because they were near windows.
I would, yeah, I'd imagine.
Yeah, because, you see this thing just in the sky.
Yeah, what's that?
And the next thing you know, just a shockwave blows glass into your face.
Good Lord.
God. It's that's also another thing that happened with the bombs dropped in Japan. A lot of the injuries weren't because of the blast; it was because of glass.
Yeah, you just struck the thought. I want to revisit that nuclear war.
Nuclear war.
I want to. Whenever we go over that, I have a couple video links. However, we're gonna. Are you posting this on YouTube? How do you want to?
Oh, I'll post it everywhere.
Okay, cool. Yeah, then a couple links you can toss in with it of just some videos from interviews with both UK veterans and American veterans who were at, what is it, Christmas Island? No, what is it? They were, anyway, the first series of tests.
Bikini Atoll?
No, this was different. This was a different area, but it was the first series of tests in the Manhattan Project, and them describing their experience. And I'm not going to get into it all, but I think the one thing that blew me away was the fact that this guy looked dead at the interviewer and just basically said, not only could I, like they tell you, reach up and cover your eyes with your hand.
I know exactly what you're going to talk about.
And I opened my eye. I didn't open my eyes, but I could see through my hand. I could see the bones in my hand. And then he says, not only could I see through my hand, I could see the bones of the man in front of me. And I had to pause the video. I was at work and I paused the video. I was like, what the frig? What?
Yeah.
And listened to it 6 times. I was just like trying to visualize that, going, that's... You think about the time period, and you think about technology, and just the nature of the world and America, you know, and America, I guess Western society or whatever at the time, but I think especially America politically and socially, that's, like, that information was covered for so long. For some of those men, that was the first time they ever talked to anybody, including their wives, about it, was on camera alone in a room with, well, alone, quote unquote, aside from the interviewer, in the room, and some of them cried. You know, and it's just like, no wonder. God forbid that information got out to people. Do you realize, frig? Anyway, not to run too far down that road.
Yeah,
I just thought that's something we should do.
I remember hearing that, and I was just like, excuse me? Because, like, you know, we've all done the thing where you, like, hold a flashlight under your hand, and you can, like, kind of see the red peeking through. But, yeah, the fact that the dude saw the person standing in front of him, his skeleton... from the light from the explosion is just like, excuse me?
Eyes closed through his own hand. That's astronomical. But before I get caught up in that.
Dude, I do not mind going into talking about like nuclear war and just nuclear fission and all that shit. It's a podcast. It's meant to evolve.
Yeah. No, I know. Never mind. I figured that would be a good one episode thing so we don't, I mean, we're at 40 some odd minutes now.
If you want to do one more cryptid or folklore thing, then we can probably cut that quits. What'd you say? Cthulhu?
Lord.
Well, okay, that's not even like... That's not like...
even myth. That's not folklore. That's just
written by
character.
Written by a man with a racist cat.
Oh, the cat was racist?
Do you not remember his name?
Well, so the cat gave himself the name because the cat has a racist personality.
Yes, obviously.
No, a good... Bigfoot's Jackalope's not even necessarily...
Chupacabra.
Oh, those are easy.
Trying
to think of other countries. I personally, I mean, the Skinwalker's been getting a lot of popularity lately. Which I don't really... I shouldn't say don't understand it. I can imagine, especially with like the whole lockdown and everything, people got like, oh... Let me look at some things I've never thought about before. Like, I'm this bored. I'm going to hop on the internet and search up mythical creatures.
And now I hear voices outside.
I was going to say big scratch on my windows at night.
Bat Squatch.
The Bat Squatch?
Excuse me?
Bat Squatch.
The Bat Squatch.
The bat and...
The sad
Good lord. Sounds like just the forest version of Mothman.
The flying cryptid that was allegedly sighted near Mount St. Helens in the 1980s resembles a flying primate similar to the... I'm not going to say
Monkeys from
that.
Wizard of
The
Oz.
Flying Monkeys.
Southeast Asia, and its name is... That's a weird word. I'm not going to say that because I'm going to sound stupid.
No, go on, attempt it.
We don't sound any better, so...
Portmanteau? Portmanteau.
I will not
Portmanteau.
port your toe, thank you.
Portmanteau.
Oh, actually...
Derived from the words bat and Sasquatch.
All right.
Portmanteau does actually ring a bell, but I unfortunately am very ignorant in regard to that one.
This
Something
creature
to
was
note,
said to have yellow eyes, a wolf-like muzzle, blue fur, sharp teeth, bird-like feet, and leathery bat-like wings.
So it's the Flying Monkeys.
Yeah, literally.
It's the Flying Monkeys from Wizard of Oz. Next one.
Moving on. Your number's been revoked. Next in line.
Okay.
I think, okay, I'll go with a fairly common one.
cactus cat.
Skinwalkers have been getting a lot of popularity. Again, I imagine over quarantine, people have just been researching things and like, oh, let me check on something I've never really bothered to look at before. You hear about Bigfoot, you hear about the Loch Ness Monster, all these big names that have just been around forever. But Skinwalkers are interesting because it's not like, how do I say this? I shouldn't say a lot of native folklore, a lot of native myths, I think is the right way to say that. But a lot of them lost public perception in certain respects. But the Skinwalker, having come back, has drawn more attention to that. But specifically Skinwalkers, I want to go to Skinwalker Ranch. Just because. Like, not even for the sake of, oh, they're down here, there's all this stuff that happens. I don't really care so much about that. I do, but just for the sake of the fact that it's gained such a reputation. Yeah. And have they done anything with that reputation? I highly doubt it.
There's been plenty of movies on it.
Yeah. But it's interesting just to think about these people who, there's variations from, story to story, but, skinwalkers are witches, and I think witch...
I think Lexi has something to say.
Oh, I didn't. I thought you were stretching in my periphery. I'm sorry.
I just made a face because I was looking at this website that was a list of cryptids, and it's like, which cryptid are you? Take this quiz. The first question is, how big are you?
Oh my
good lord!
How big are your feet?
It's just, how big are you? The options are small-sized, medium-sized, average-sized, above average-sized, and extra large.
In what way? How big are you? Like, how big are my feet? How tall am I? How fat am I? Like, what?
That's the only question. How big are you?
How big are you?
Yeah, that's the quirky quiz.
Not big enough.
Yeah, really.
I'm gonna do the quiz.
Please tell us your result after you've taken the quiz.
I'm small size, medium size, or average size.
You're small.
You're small.
I'm small?
Yeah.
I think there are people smaller than me, though.
Well, yeah, but there's no extra small option. You're not extra small, but I wouldn't call you medium.
Okay.
You're like bigger than small, but smaller than medium.
Okay, I'm small.
You're a small medium. And if you're running from the law, you're at large. But I'm sorry.
This just in, a midget psychic is caught running from the police. There's a small medium at large.
I don't know why that's the one that sticks in my head, but it does. Anyway, while you take that quiz, Skinwalkers have just been always one that's kind of like intrigued me, just because it's gained more popularity, and Reddit. This is not a side note. This is very relevant. Reddit is quite the interesting place to go.
Oh, it is.
Scary story. Just yeah. Sometimes it's really cool. Sometimes it's friggin'. But for scary stories, both like completely fictional and people honestly going, something happened, and I don't know what to do with it because I'm not an idiot. Mm-hmm. Like, I know the way the world works, and this doesn't fit in any of the boxes. Like, I'm going, like, it's funny, you think, oh, so you went to the Reddit community. But I think if we're going to be sober-minded about certain things, who else are you going to talk to?
Yeah.
Like, oh, my first thought is, let me go to the news, because nobody's going to cover that. Even a local news network, firstly. And if they do, they're not going to take it seriously. You don't call the police because, really?
Local quack says he saw an alien. Like, no one's going to take you seriously.
That's what always happens.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is like, this almost kind of traces back to the beginning where people sort of... I'm talking about the fact that people sort of acknowledge it, like it's there, but that's as far as it goes.
Yes.
Oh no, it's just another rude question.
Okay.
Oh boy.
What's this next question?
Do others find you good looking? Plain looking? Alright, but nothing striking. Average looking with some nice attributes, good features and sexy, or incredibly attractive.
That was the most non-linear scale I've ever heard.
Oh, I find you sexy, babe.
That's not even the best option, though.
I know. Is there a best option?
Incredibly attractive.
Sure, incredibly attractive. Go on. No, all right. Anyways,
I'll be modest.
Harry, keep going.
I have to find out what cryptid I am.
Yes, that might be the closing thought. Is
which
what
Power Ranger
is Lexi?
Which Power Ranger are you?
But yeah, this sort of wraps into, or ties back into what I was saying in the beginning about the fact that people acknowledge that the paranormal, the I guess this all kind of gets qualified as paranormal, really, when you think about it. But
Yeah.
cryptids, you know, I don't want to say mythology, it's a little different, but...
Folklore.
Folklore, thank you.
That's the word we were using.
Yeah, hello. There you go. Like I said, just because we can talk about a lot of things doesn't make us smart. Especially me. I'm a big idiot. We're recording on Shane's computer, which is marvelous if that tells you anything. I'd rather scratch runes into a rock. But anyway, yeah, people acknowledge folklore and like paranormal things as like existing and being a part of life to some degree. But that's as far as it goes. And I've thought about that a lot over the past year, again, because in quarantine, I'm the one that's sitting there looking up going, oh, what about this? What about this? You know? And thinking, I'm just
loony.
Yeah, thinking I'm going to be like, oh, I'm just going to entertain myself, but going, wow. It's amazing, like, the intersections you find in culture. Again, you look at American Stonehenge, and you think, when you think about the group, like the Celtic group of people, and then you think about Native Americans, you don't think they cross paths until, like, post-Columbus.
Yeah.
Way post-Columbus. But this is pre-Columbus, and they're intersecting and assimilating. Things like that, like the way cultures come across each other and intertwine is the same way all these, again, folklore comes with culture, but the paranormal and such, they're so varied if you look at them independently. But then when you start to go, you compare different cultures, it's like, wow, there's a lot of overlap. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not throwing like conspiracy theory or whatever out there, but I think there's whatever it is, not saying what it is, but whatever it is, I think it's worth looking at.
Yeah.
Because it's been with humanity as long as humanity's been here. That to me at least describes some level of value. Whatever it is, I don't know. I'm not proclaiming to say what it is. I think it's important at least just to acknowledge it as something that's worth looking into. You know, and some might call that like a ridiculous pursuit because, well, how much can you really learn? Well, we respect anthropology, which sounds like great and you know, deep and invested in regard to like a field of study, which it is, like anything else. But it's also just, when you break it down fundamentally, it's looking at people groups.
Yeah.
It's studying culture, and I know that's a very loose way to say it, but it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's studying culture, and that's what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And it has value. You know, so it's just crazy to see how all these things sort of collide with each other, and yet it's so easy for us in our day-to-day lives, just because we don't readily experience it, some of us, to say, oh, it's there. It's just not part of my world.
Yeah.
Well, that's the greatest lie, is you share the world with, give or take, I know it's not 8 billion yet, but we're getting there.
Close to 8 billion, yeah.
So approximately 8 billion other people. It's our world, and to some degree it's worth at least acknowledging, it's worth looking into, because there's things to learn. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying like in a spiritual sense, it's just there's things to learn about people, about history there. And it's just neat to me to see that happen. You know. Anyway, I turned down a road I didn't mean to. But
yeah, that's all right.
Rex's been waiting patiently.
What's up, babe?
Boo-boo lip
said
on.
I was small, right?
Yes.
You said I was small. You want to take a guess on...
Are you the Flatwoods Monster?
No.
Oh.
It's Bigfoot.
Excuse me?
Why is Bigfoot sexy? Excuse me.
No,
Small and sexy. Bigfoot, small and sexy.
Bigfoot, just how I like him. Small and sexy.
All right, so like I'm about ready to wrap this up. It's getting too fucking hot in here.
Warm. I'm fat, and this is not good.
God, all right.
Find out what your cryptids are.
We could do it later.
Yeah, that'll be the delivery line for the next one. That'll be on the next one.
It'll be on the next one. All right.
Really quick intro.
This was actually really fun. We definitely got to get like a dedicated setup for this going.
Yes.
But man, this is gonna be so much fun. I can't wait to see how this episode's gonna turn out. All of you listening, I really hope that you enjoyed listening to Harrison ramble for like an hour.
Look, I promise I'm gonna try and do better. I'm sorry, it's a bad habit,
dude. It's okay. We'll see what people like. If like, because like, you know, I love sitting here and just listening to you like go off and still like, you know, asking more questions to get more thought out. I find it really enjoyable, and I will still contribute more, obviously. especially when it's just
I feel
more.
bad talking so much. I really don't mean to. It
Do
just
not
happens.
feel bad, please.
Whatever.
This is all supposed to be fun. But anyways, we want to get a better place to do this because doing it in my room in the middle of summer when I can't have my AC on, it gets hot in here very fast, especially with 3 people, a computer, and an amplifier all on with thick carpeting. God, it gets hot in here. But yeah, so again, this was the title to be determined podcast. Will we ever figure out a title? Anyone can guess.
Guess what that is? It's to be determined.
It's to be determined.
Nobody
Yes.
saw that one coming.
Okay, but anyways, we will now call this a day. I hope you all enjoyed listening. I have been Shane.
I have been Harrison.
And we have had
Guest Lexi in the chair.
guest Lexi.
Is that the guest chair?
That's the guest chair.
The guest. Okay, cool.
That'll be the
Lexi
guest
in the
chair.
guest chair.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed the commentary.
Yeah. And we hope to see you back next time.
Ladies and germs, we will be hopefully talking to y'all soon. I encourage you, do some research, learn about the world around you. We're going to be talking a lot about it, so if you don't already, get invested. Talk to you soon.
Take the cryptid quiz.
Take the cryptid quiz.
Take the
Lexi
cryptid
says.
quiz and let us know your results down below.
Please, yes.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.